Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to JWF Monday Night Ignition. I'm your host, Silver Spoon, joined as always by the man who put the wrestle in WrestlePalooza. It's Captain Tibbs.
That's right, Sills, and welcome to the next day on the WrestlePalooza Advent Calendar. Let's open up the door and see what we got.
Well, we've got one hell of a main event. The woman who won the Women's Expiration Chamber match and is going on to possibly become our first ever JWF Women's Champion, Val Curry, is going to go toe-to-toe with Lucretia Pendragon in the main event. And Tibbs, we said it last week, I'll say it again. This is not a wise move from Val Curry. Lucretia took her out of action last week, just beating her down up on the stage. Imagine what Lucretia wants to do to her in a real match.
Sills, and I understand that. I really do. But in this match, we have pride on the line, and also Val Curry is out to make a statement that you can't just mess with her like that and get away with it.
That's right, but before that, Tibbs, why don't we talk about that fresh blood ladder match you made for WrestlePalooza? You've had numerous people come to you for opportunities to enter that match. We already know a few of the names. We know men like Big Cyrus Crane announced for that match. Earlier today, you announced Honey Mustard David Jenkins and the Demonic Croc to enter that match. This fresh blood ladder match is filling up, and Tibbs, the pool is starting to look full.
Absolutely, Sills. We are about to reach max capacity, but we still got a few spots left to fill, and I can promise you it'll only go to the best of the best that don't already have a match at WrestlePalooza.
Well, speaking of, it may go to someone with a match at WrestlePalooza, because in addition to those names, you also said that Gozzie, after his vicious assault of Funky Flossie last night, will face off against the Funk Master at WrestlePalooza, and the winner will be entered into the Fresh Blood ladder match. And Tibbs, I think this is a wise move. These two men clearly have a problem with each other. They have a history with one another. Of course, we remember Gozzie breaking the arm of Funky Flossie ahead of last year's Crossing the Line pay-per-view. You know there's some revenge that Funky Flossie wants.
Absolutely, Sills, especially seeing after how impassioned Funky Flossie was going after Scottye Moore, the person who ordered Gozzie to snap his arm like that in such a vicious fashion. But you gotta think that Funky Flossie has no love lost for Gozzie, the man who actually did it.
That's right, and the Nightmare is in our ring right now, so why don't we hear what Gozzie has to say?
Why would Gozzie attack Funky Flossie? Seems to be the question on just about everyone's mind. Seems to be what I get asked day in and day out ever since I did it. Gozzie, why would you do it? Is it jealousy for something? Is it rage? Like, are you mad at Funky? What's going on? It's compassion. It's giving Funky Flossie a shot of reality and saving him from himself. You see, Funky, we're alike in many ways. Both of us were protégés of Scottye Moore, and both of us beat Scottye in singles competition. And let me tell you, it feels damn good to do that. It feels damn good to feel like you're number one on night one in this company. But then both of us went on to fight and fail, and then fail, and fail. And then the world forgets. It's already happened to me, and it's happening to you too, Funky. Both of us were afterthoughts in the Rumble. Both of us were afterthoughts in the chamber matches. Nobody cares about either one of us. Funky, it doesn't matter who you beat. It doesn't matter what you do in this company. It doesn't matter. Nothing matters, Funky. Only Gozzie. And I'm gonna prove it. I'm gonna finish what I started. At WrestlePalooza, I'm gonna snap your arm, and I'm gonna put you out of this company for good.
Well, Tibbs, an emphatic plea right there from Gozzie saying, Funky Flossie, I'm going to take you out of this company for good. But Tibbs, how do you respond to a lot of the things Gozzie was saying, that he kind of came in as the flavor of the week, and ever since, he's been kind of let down, and he says Funky may go down that same route. What's your response to that?
Well, Sills, I don't know what to say to Gozzie. He tried his damnedest, but there was something that just didn't work. And I think it was how viciously he assaulted people that he was going to have a match with weeks and weeks before. Honestly, Sills, Gozzie just failed to make his own way in the JWF after he first joined, after he was first signed, and in my opinion, Sills, he's going to have to start going in a new direction to get anywhere serious.
That's right, and speaking of three men who have made their own way and also have quite the history with the Nightmare are the men who are going to be fighting for the captain's title at WrestlePalooza. Blake Tanner, Scottye Moore, and the Dylan, three men with quite possibly the most history of any combination of individuals here in this company, are finally going toe-to-toe. The Fight Boys will implode at WrestlePalooza, and the biggest title in the world will be on the line.
I'd have to agree, Sills, and not just because I made it.
That is right, Tibbs. But interestingly enough, Scottye Moore, also the head of development down in JXT, our developmental system, where he had a big hand in bringing women's wrestling to JXT. Which is why I know he has a lot to say concerning the JWF Women's Championship match at WrestlePalooza, so we have sent one of our top interviewers to hear what Scottye thinks and what his prediction may be ahead of that match. Let's have a listen.
Hello everybody, Honey Pot McBlue Juice here, with a man who's set to face off against the Dylan and Blake Tanner in an epic triple threat match for the JWF Captain's Championship at WrestlePalooza, Scottye Moore. Now Scottye, I'm actually here today to ask you about a different match at WrestlePalooza. A match that sees one of your proteges, Cat Viva, take on the winner of the Women's Exploration Chamber match, Val Curry. Do you have any advice for either of those women?
Well, look, in all honesty, both of them have so much to prove when it comes to that match. I mean, you got Val Curry, a woman who has never gotten the job done in JXT. She's now expected to come to the main roster and get that job done on the biggest stage of them all. And then you've got Cat Viva, a girl that no one expected to be in this spot, especially me, given that my wife was the former champion, but she has to face a grueling match for her title at JXT Florida Mania. Then move on to fight, despite any injuries that would have happened during that match. You see, both of them have a lot going on surrounding this match. They both have the weight of the world on their shoulders, but to be honest with you, I can't imagine what it's like heading into this match as Val Curry, because not only is the title on the line, there's also a very big shadow looming over her, and that's the shadow of her father's career. I mean, my personal relationship with Momoa Curry aside, every single time you fought against him in that ring and his music hit and he walked down that aisle, you could feel it. You could feel the aura of a 20-plus year career walking towards you in that ring, and it was in those moments that a superstar either sinks or swims. Because, hell, if you didn't prove yourself to Momoa, your career, it was over. And now, on the biggest stage of them all, WrestlePalooza, Val Curry has that shadow looming over her, and I'll be honest, I think it might be too much. I mean, combine it with the fact that she's facing Kat, a woman who not only has pinned Val Curry before, but also has done so in order to claim something that Val's never gotten, the JXT Women's Championship. To me, that's just a recipe for Val Curry getting caught up in her head. So at WrestlePalooza, my only advice to both of those women is to remember what you're fighting for. Remember, the biggest prize in this business is on the line, but also remember, win or lose, you will be making history. You are going to be in the first ever women's main event at WrestlePalooza. No one is going to be able to take that away from you. So fight like you fought when you debuted in JXT. Fight like you've got nothing left, and I guarantee you that shadow over your head will disappear. And if you can do that, you may very well walk out with the JWF Women's Championship. Just like I am going to be doing with the JWF Captain's Championship. Thanks for your time. Well, Tibbs, looks like Scottye Moore has a big message to both of those women, Cat Viva and the woman known as Val Curry. When you get into that match, you better fight like hell and remember that the biggest prize in the title is on the line.
Absolutely, Sills. Not only the biggest prize on the line, but also arguably one of the most important championship wins that we are expecting on WrestlePalooza night. It is going to be history making, like Scottye Moore said. You get to be a piece of that. So you fight like your life depends on it. And one of you that fights harder is going to be the first JWF Women's Champion.
That's right, but also, let's not forget, like Scottye Moore said, Cat Viva has a big match ahead of that as she goes toe-to-toe with, interestingly enough, the sister of one of our superstars, the Debbie Duck. And if Debbie Duck can manage to beat her on that night, that entire main event changes, and you gotta think that's gotta be playing in Valkyrie's mind. She's gotta be thinking about fighting not one opponent, but two different ones.
Absolutely, Sills, and I don't know which one Valkyrie would rather fight right now. I mean, we live in a world where right now, Jebedick and his sister could both be fighting Momoa Curry and Valkyrie, respectively. Jebedick, Debbie Duck, Momoa Curry, Valkyrie. It could happen.
That is right, Tibbs, but before we can get to that, I mean, you've been keeping it in for weeks. Couple of weeks ago, one of the biggest names in our company, Hollywood Hulcher, he was announced to be in the Fresh Blood ladder match, but instead declined that match after being relentlessly mocked by our tag team champions, Bananas in Pajamas. Hollywood said he didn't want in that Fresh Blood ladder match. He wanted in a different match. Tibbs, can you announce what that match is?
All right, Sills, it's it's been a long time coming, but I will say, Hollywood Hulcher has challenged for the JWF Tag Team Championships.
Wait, who the hell is his partner? Who's he teaming with?
Sills, let's not give everything away right now. Let's wait and see.
Well, Tibbs, our tag team champions, Bananas in Pajamas, are in the ring right now. I'm sure they know about this match, and they don't seem too happy about it. And it seems they have a special presentation for the JWF Universe. So why don't we go down to see what old Bananas in Pajamas are thinking? Hello, everybody. Your resident greatest tag team of all time, Bananas in Pajamas here, with a little PSA for you.
Yeah, it's time for a special presentation that we've created called
Don't Be a Dummy. Yeah, if you look here at this little screen scheme we've got set up, we've created some examples for you. Right here we got a little Exhibit A, this little stick figure. Let's call him, I don't know, Kyle. Now, early on, Johnny, I can already see plenty of ways that Kyle is being a dummy.
Oh, yes, I see right where you're talking about. Well, as you can see, Dr. Pajamas, Kyle, he's got his big dumb hair, these stupid pants, and he's a guy that still listens to disco in 2021.
Oh, God.
Oh.
He's a disco duck.
Oh, but that's not the worst part at all, ladies and gentlemen. No. Dr. Pajamas, would you like to take over and explain why Hollywood why Kyle is a real dummy?
Yes, thank you, Dr. Bananas. Let me just show you Exhibit B. Two men who are definitely not dummies. Let's call them Joey and Johnny, for example's sake.
Yeah.
And hey, look at that. They got gold around their waist.
Oh.
Thousands of people who love them more than anything. But, wait, Dr. Pajamas, what's Kyle doing?
No, hold on. Well, it appears that he's leaving an opportunity to challenge for the JWF Heavyweight Championship, and he's trying to pick a fight with Joey and Johnny?
Why, you know, Dr. Bananas,
What?
even if Joey and Johnny weren't the greatest tag team of all time, even though they definitely are, I'd say a one-on-two fight is still a very bold strategy, Cotton.
Why, yes, it is. And if we flip over to the next screen, would you kindly? You see that?
Yeah, I've got the...
Yeah, you gotta click it. You gotta click
I'm trying with the clicker.
No,
The
you gotta
clicker's
click. You gotta click the right clicker. That's that one right there.
Are we on channel 3? Is it channel 3 or 4?
Yeah.
I always...
Do you got the aux cables in? I think that's the red and the yellow.
Oh, God. Oh, what is that static? What's going on?
What? Come on.
I told you to put batteries in here. I don't know. Oh my God, Tibbs, what the hell? From out of nowhere, that TV screen just getting blasted straight into the faces of Johnny and Joey by Hollywood Hulcher, who's just going after Bananas and Pajamas like a house of fire.
Absolutely, Sills. It looks like Hollywood Hulcher wasn't a big fan of that presentation.
That's right, but... Oh, Tibbs, that is some music we have heard before, but I don't think it's ever been to Hollywood Hulcher's benefit. But Tibbs, he's here. He's here. Danny Roanoke, the man who faced off against Hulcher in a devastating best-of-7 series is here, but it looks like he's here to help Hollywood Hulcher take on Bananas in Pajamas.
That's right, Sills. Do not adjust your television right now. That is Danny Roanoke in the flesh. He has teamed up with Hollywood Hulcher, and it looks like we got us a WrestlePalooza tag team match.
That is right, and oh, a big Hollywood Hill straight down to Joey before... Oh, Tibbs, Danny's got him up. Black mirror to Johnny Pajamas, taking him out, driving that knee straight into the temple of the tag team champion. And Tibbs, looks like Hollywood Hulcher's going to WrestlePalooza, and he's bringing a friend.
That's right, Sills. Have a nice reservation for Hollywood Hulcher and Danny Roanoke, and why don't you leave some room in their seats for the JWF Tag Team Championships.
That is right, but speaking of another epic championship match, why do we not talk about the JWF World Heavyweight Championship, which will be on the line when your son Chuck Tibbs defends against the King of the Hill himself, Robert Hill, a man who has been unpinned and unsubmitted in the company up to this point.
That's right, Sills. Robert Hill has torn through every division in the JWF. He seems to be an unstoppable monster. He has only ever been defeated by unnatural causes, let's say, not being pinned or submitted. You'd have to escape from him through a cage. You'd have to knock him out for that 10 count, but he has never been pinned or submitted.
That is right, but last week, after your son defended his title in a grueling match against the former champion, Guy Fieri, Robert Hill came out and made his presence known, bringing in Chuck for a vicious gaslighter, that massive DDT, just dropping him straight down onto his skull. And Tibbs, it was a horrifying display from the challenger.
Absolutely, Sills. It was Robert Hill making a statement, sending a statement to my son, Chuck Tibbs, that he does not think that Chuck is long for this world with that championship.
That is right, and Robert Hill is backstage with one of our top interviewers to explain his actions from last week and what's to come at WrestlePalooza. Let's have a listen. Ladies and gentlemen, Don McDonald backstage here with the man who's set to face off against Chuck Tibbs for the JWF Championship in just a few short weeks at WrestlePalooza, Robert Hill. Now, Robert, last week, Chuck Tibbs, he defended his title in a grueling match against Guy Fieri, and afterwards you entered the ring and assaulted him before taking his JWF Championship and holding it high. Can you explain your actions to the JWF universe?
Do I really got to explain my actions to you, McDonald? Because to me, last week it seemed pretty obvious what happened. Chuck Tibbs found himself standing in front of the reality he's gonna be facing at WrestlePalooza. He found himself standing in front of a charging bull that's not gonna stop at nothing until he takes the JWF Championship. Everybody out there, they're calling this a David and Goliath story. That's real funny, because I never heard about the part in that story where David kept coming out and bragging about all his accomplishments, bragging about all his victories, and acting like Goliath was just some other obstacle in his way. Because listen here, McDonald, I am not just some obstacle for Chuck Tibbs. I am a brick wall that his title reign is going to smash into at WrestlePalooza and not make it out alive. I am not like anything Chuck Tibbs has faced before, and I am not like anything he'll ever face again. I am the unpinned, unsubmitted king of the hill. And at WrestlePalooza, I'm gonna turn that David and Goliath story upside down when Goliath crushes David's head beneath his boot and becomes the JWF World Heavyweight Champion.
Well, Tibbs, looks like Robert Hill has a plan heading into WrestlePalooza, and it is to take Chuck Tibbs down and to take him down and take the title with him.
Well, so that is a simple plan. It needs to be said, but that is also a terrifying prospect, especially for Chuck. This Robert Hill, he's not going to be leaving anything out on the table. He's going to be taking it all with him into the ring that night, and I fear for Chuck's safety on this one, and I hope that he has a good head on his shoulders that night.
That is right, but why don't we now move on to our main event? I mean, speaking of people who are going to be fighting for World Championship, why don't we talk about one of the women in this match, Val Curry, who, depending on how this match goes, will be fighting for the Women's World Heavyweight Championship in just a few short weeks at WrestlePalooza. But let's be honest, if what Lucretia Pendragon did to her a few weeks ago was any indication, Lucretia may just take Val out of that match entirely.
That might be true, Sills. Lucretia Pendragon, she obviously has made an emphatic statement against Val Curry, and she doesn't care what she has to do. She does not want to see Val Curry in that match at WrestlePalooza.
That's right, and that bell goes ding, and oh my God, look at that, Val Curry just trying to rush Lucretia Pendragon, but Tibbs, you know Lucretia has that size advantage, and she has just grabbed Val before, oh my God, slamming a fist down onto the spine of Curry, who just falls to the mat in a heap. You know that back injury is still plaguing her after getting powerbombed off the side of the stage.
Absolutely, Sills. I don't care who you are. Man, God, it doesn't matter. That kind of impact, it's gonna leave bruises.
That's right, and look at this. Oh my God, Lucretia just grabbing Val by the hair and tossing her around the ring. And Lucretia, she's got a smile on her face. I mean, this is ridiculous.
Of course, Sills, this is just Lucretia Pendragon trying to toy with Val Curry. I was worried about this. You can tell that Val is not at 100% tonight.
That's right. Not only that, Lucretia with a size advantage. This would be hard for Val on her best day as, she just gets tossed into that turnbuckle. Lucretia going in, goes for a big, forearm shot, but Val gets out of the way, dodges, goes towards the ropes before coming back and hitting a big drop kick into the corner. Before trying for a second, goes for it, but oh my God, gets plucked out of midair and just STO down to the mat for her troubles. And that has got to be once again aggravating that back injury.
Absolutely, Sills. You can tell Val Curry, it might just be by the smallest fraction, but she's not moving as fast as she usually can tonight, and it's got to be due to those lingering back injuries. And every time Lucretia drops her on her back again, that's going to keep aggravating it.
That's right, and it looks like she's going to aggravate it for good right now, grabbing her by the skull before, oh my God, look at the strength of Lucretia Pendragon being able to actually pluck Val Curry out of the air and gorilla press her above her head. And oh my God, Tibbs, she's about to try to toss Val out of the ring. Oh my God.
My God, I can't believe this, Sills.
Oh, but wait a minute. Val Curry escapes, wriggles her way down, rolls her up. 1, 2. Lucretia kicking out, but hits a big PK to the face, just planting Val on the mat before turning it around into a Boston Crab. And Tibbs, with that aggravated back injury, Val Curry's got a tap.
Absolutely, Sills. That her back could snap under the pressure. This could not only destroy her chances at WrestlePalooza, she might never be able to walk again if something bad happens to her back tonight.
That's right, but you can see her crawling towards those ropes. In these kind of moments, I would say think towards your future. Think towards becoming the first ever JWF Women's Champion, but it looks like Val Curry is in the fight as she gets to the bottom rope and Lucretia Pendragon forced to release.
There we go. Big move on the part of Val Curry right there. Smart move, too. Sometimes you got to think smarter, not harder.
That's right. Now Val getting back to her feet, but unfortunately turns around into a big kick to the gut from Lucretia, who's grabbed her, picking her up, going for that Knight's Cross powerbomb, the move that took Val out of action last week. But ooh, Val sneaking out, bouncing off the ropes, and it's the Momoan punch, that massive jack to the jaw. But unfortunately, Lucretia Pendragon staying up. That is one redwood that's going to take more than one chop to cut down.
Indeed, Sills. And with the amount of damage that Valkyrie has taken already, it is going to be a monumental effort to knock Lucretia down to the mat.
That's right, but unfortunately goes for a second, but gets caught by Lucretia by the throat. Might be looking for that choke slam she likes to employ, but Val reverses into a massive DDT, just planting Lucretia into the mat, Tibbs.
Oh, there we go, Sills. That's gonna be how you get the momentum back. Valkyrie, she's got to be thinking about those wily moves that she could sucker Lucretia into.
That's right, and Valkyrie backed up into the corner, maybe looking to end it with the Fisherman's Spear, a move she adopted for her father, but Lucretia dodges, and Val going shoulder first into the ring post. And unfortunately, it looks like it's all over for Valkyrie, who gets drugged to the center of the ring by Lucretia Pendragon, who's going to the top rope, might be looking for that guillotine leg drop, but oh my God, from in the middle of the air, Valkyrie catches her with that massive spear, just planting her into the earth, goes for the pinfall, 1, 2, 3, and Tibbs, Valkyrie getting out by the skin of her teeth may just be putting it lightly for how she survived that match.
Absolutely, Sills. It was down to the wire, and you could tell those are just some of the biggest moves that she could pull out just to end it as quickly as possible.
That's right, that big desperation spear at the very last minute. And you got to think, there's also the added momentum of Lucretia coming down to the mat. That definitely had to have been a deciding factor there in how that spear helped Valkyrie.
Absolutely, Sills. But now that we've moved past this, it is nothing but smooth sailing for Valkyrie all the way to WrestlePalooza.
That's right, but speaking of Valkyrie, why don't we talk about her father, Momoa Curry, who just last week announced that at WrestlePalooza he wanted a one-on-one match with a man who many call the face of JXT, the Jebeduk. The face of the JWF faces the face of JXT, and next week Momoa Curry returns to the JWF arena to tell the world how he feels about this match.
So this is going to be monumental. Momoa Curry finally back full-time in action leading up to WrestlePalooza. It's going to be an honor to have him in our ring again.
That's right. In addition, we are going to be hearing from Funky Flossie and his response to what Gozzie said earlier tonight. And Tibbs, just 6 days away from their match at WrestlePalooza, Chuck Tibbs and Robert Hill are going to come face-to-face in the ring next week.
And so that is going to be a confrontation for the ages, let me tell you something. It's going to be right there, right before we go to WrestlePalooza. What is our champion and what is our number one contender going to do?
That's right, but until then, remember to support us at patreon.com/a-load-of-BS and to support the JWF superstars you love most by picking up their merch at merch.aloadofpurebs.com.
And still, there is no better way to sell somebody you love them by giving them money for a shirt with something that they say on it.
That is right, Tibbs, but until next time, he's been Captain Tibbs, I've been Silver Spoon, and this has been JWF Monday Night Ignition. And we will see you next time.